I'm Boston has entered the chat.
May all acquaintance be forgot.
Is that you? You lead
And
those
that's
quiet songs?
That's a New Year's song.
I just do I'm the guy with the really loud noisemaker. That's what I do every time, man. What are your New Year's Eve plans?
Oh, just sit on my couch, solo, watch the ball drop, drinking.
Love it.
Yeah.
So jealous.
I know. That's been my life since kids, man. I used to go out and turn up. Not anymore.
I was always stay in, don't go out.
Really?
It's the busiest time of year to go out.
I know,
it
but it's so fun, George.
So my favorite part about this New Year's Eve, though, I had to make fake plans because my girlfriend, now fiance, thought I was doing a New Year's Eve.
Oh.
As you know, I was doing it the Saturday before.
All right.
So I made a reservation in the South End. I kept saying, we booked a dinner with your friends. Yeah, so that was my favorite. So I was like making plans.
Right.
Which did help me because she knows I hate going out for New Year's Eve.
Smart.
So if I'm going out for New Year's Eve, that's a green flag to her.
Yeah.
So.
Man, you could have been a great criminal because you just throw them off the scent. It's fantastic, right?
Yeah. I'm a
little twist and turn there.
I'm a pretty good, I want to say fibber. I don't want to say liar.
Yeah.
I fib.
Yeah.
You know, I could sell fake plans.
Thank God you use your powers for good.
Yeah, right?
And not evil. Because if it was me, oh, man, sinister.
Hey, speaking of using powers for good, I think one of the best things we do at Nesson is the Jimmy Fund Raio Telethon. You guys know it's 2 straight days of just fundraising that all go towards the Dana-Farber Cancer Clinic here in Boston. It's one of the best cancer treatment centers in the world.
Absolutely.
The special 2 days, which we've hosted before, we've been a part of, they touch us just in a small way, and we know the powers that happen. So this episode we got for you guys in the chat, as we want to give our crew and everyone off during the holiday break, is a Jimmy Fund special. So check it out. And as you guys know, you don't have to wait till those magical 2 days in the summer to donate. Go to Dana-Farber's website and donate. Or if you want to call in those days as well and just visit the clinic, help kids. They're dealing with a battle no one ever should. And, you know, it's kids, it's adults, people from all over, not just here in Boston. Here's a Jimmy Fund special episode. Still alive today. He saw his daughter walk down the aisle. He saw his other daughter get a job at Dana-Farber. And he has 2 more that he's seen grow up. Because of Dana-Farber, because of the Jimmy Fund, he's had that quality of life to continue living. He's not done with his battle yet. He will beat it. But he's one of the most inspirational people I know. And if you're around BC football or hockey, you know him very well. My other friend, just in the last few years, she found herself very tired walking up the stairs in her home. She went to Dana-Farber. It was breast cancer. Within a year, she beat it, and she's doing better. And I have another friend as well where his wife is going through a battle. And it was a year ago where she was feeling some pain. Went to one doctor. They said, we'll give it a month or 2 and we'll see. They had the instinct to go right to Dana-Farber. Within the next week, they were treating her. She's not done with her battle yet, but she will. But they all have their quality of life right now, and it's because everything that is going on at Dana-Farber, everything that's being done at the Jimmy Fund, for children, for adults, it's something that none of us ever want to deal with, but unfortunately, it's a reality in the world we live in. It's affected you. It's affected me. It's throughout our families. Luckily, it hasn't affected us directly, and we've never had to deal with cancer ourselves. But to bring a cure, to bring an end, and to bring a solution, and for the time being, to give these kids and give these people and their families more time together, a better quality of life, and to enjoy the days they have on this earth, every dollar is needed with Dana-Farber. Every dollar is needed towards Jimmy Fund. And over these next 2 days, walk-off hits like we saw from Rob Refsnyder, buzzer beaters, game-winning goals, Stanley Cup, Super Bowls, that's special. But this stuff is the difference. This is the real-world stuff. These are the 2 most powerful days in Boston, and I would say the 2 most powerful days around the country because of everything it does for everyone throughout the community.
Happy to be joined by Bruins goaltender Jeremy Swayman. What's up, Sway? How we doing?
Good to be here, guys.
We decided we needed to bring you on because, like, as our cheat code for being able to get Alaska onto the board with donations.
They're not up there yet?
I thought that I heard that they were out there. I thought I heard just before we came on. I wanted to make sure. Yeah, that Alaska's really represent.
As we should.
How's your summer going?
It's great. It's so good. I love staying here in the summers and just being a part of this community and everything, and obviously getting to do this. It's dream come true. So happy to be here.
When it comes to being a part of the community, how does that take root? You know, how did your connection with the Jimmy Fund form, and how would you describe what you're able to kind of draw from being around it?
The Jimmy Fund is everywhere. It seems like, especially in Boston, New England area. There's an incredible community here to connect with. I've been in all the hospitals, obviously, and just to show what kind of impact it has on the community. And obviously anyone you meet in these hospitals, they're coming from all over the world. And that for me is something I can easily connect with and get behind. And so when I, know that I think the first year I was here, I was able to do this event and learning more about it over and over the years. It's just connected me more and more to this community, the roots that these people have, especially on the East Coast, the proud Boston fan base. And I just couldn't be happier to be a local Bostonian.
It's woven into the fabric of the team culture in all the major sports in Boston. But from a Bruins perspective, to see all of the players get involved, and it's something that when you get here, you learn right away. You learn about giving back to the community, and in this case, giving back to the Jimmy Fund. Why is that important to instill that culture right from the get-go?
You nailed it. It's the culture that I've stepped into as a Bruin with our incredible leaders, and I couldn't be happier continuing that legacy. For the guys that have stepped foot many years before me that have instilled that with young guys coming in, we've had 100 years of this now in the Bruins locker room. And again, I know it's my duty to continue what they've built, and I'm going to do whatever I can to continue it and make sure the next generation, the generation after that, will continue the great foundation and work ethic and just overall good human beings. And that's something that, I can get behind of. It's bigger than hockey. It's bigger than us. And again, it's something that I wake up and really strive for every day.
It's really cool to hear you talking about feeling like you're able to integrate yourself into the Boston community and feel a part of that. And I wonder, at what point did you feel like, that had taken root, and how important was it to take part in something that was bigger than hockey in order to feel like you were, in fact, a part of a Bostonian of sorts?
The second I stepped at the University of Maine in the East Coast, I was fortunate enough to be drafted by the time I was committed to Maine. And when I stepped in, there was Bruins jerseys in the Alfond Arena. And I was like, holy smokes, like there's going to be Bruins jerseys at a Maine game. And I knew what kind of culture and world-class organization I was stepping into. And ever since Maine, coming down to Boston, signing, being a community member of Boston, it's just continued to impress me. Going to practice, there's hundreds of kids in this summer camp, and they're chanting Swayman. It's one of the most incredible feelings, and it really is. It's something that I take to heart, and it means so much to me because I never thought in a million years that I would have this kind of support and this kind of community to be a part of, and that's why I'm so passionate about being an advocate and trying to get as much involved as I can outside of hockey and with events like this and many more other charitable events that make it a really special place to live.
We meet a lot of Bruins fans at the Jimmy Fund Clinic, as you can imagine, so I would be remiss if I didn't ask a couple of Bruins-related questions.
Of course.
So with that said, I'll start with this. Charlie Jacobs was on, asked about your contract situation, which has been in the news a little bit lately. He said that there are some details to iron out. I'll ask you, what is your confidence that you can get something worked out and be between the pipes for the Bruins this season?
There's a lot of confidence, and I say that because I've treated it like business as usual this year. I've been in Warrior. I've been working out with our guys, our staff, our players, and I know that there's something special building in this locker room this year, and I can't be more excited about that. I know that it'll take care of itself with time, and all I can do is control how I'm going to be a better goalie for the Boston Bruins this year, and so that's all I'm focused on, and I know, again, it'll work out, and I couldn't be happier to be a Bruin.
And in terms of the team going into next year, making some big splashes in free agency, adding some other pieces as well to round out the roster, how excited are you about the team going into the year?
Very excited. There's, a ton of momentum building in our locker room now. We got Elias Lindholm in the locker room now, getting to see him, his commitment coming early. I saw Zadorov. Again, he's going to be a huge piece for us moving forward, and of course all the other pieces that are coming. It's a team game, as you know, and I know that everyone that's going to come in this locker room is going to embrace the culture that we've built and do whatever they can do to get points for the Boston Bruins in this team, because we know what we represent with the crest on our logo, and there's a lot of great things to come.
It is really interesting to be at a point of building, right? Like that's. Mm-hmm. There's a shift that occurs when you have incredible veterans retiring and people who have been iconic figures in the franchise's history retiring. How much do you feel like you guys have kind of gone through a feeling out phase and now are in a position where you do have kind of an identity of who you are and who you will be?
I think every year there's a different identity with each team, and that's what I've learned with my experience. Going in my 5th year now, each team has strengths and weaknesses, and as a guy that's been a core guy, seen the differences and the different guys come through our locker room and contribute to Boston Bruins hockey, I've gotten to pull bits and pieces of what I've liked from different guys, of what I didn't like, and making sure that I'm keeping that smooth slate of our culture and our identity. And that's been a really special transition for me personally, because I've now stepped into that role of coaching and teaching the next generation. But I really don't have to be a voice. I just do what Marshy does. I just show it. And that's
right. Lead by example.
That's one of my favorite things that he's done. And again, he's an incredible role model for me and will always be. And it's the work ethic and commitment that he puts forward. And I've embraced it fully. And I'm looking forward to many more years to come.
I want to ask you about this too, Jeremy. Last year during the preseason, we were in Philadelphia, and before the media scrum, you had asked me, it was right after Tim Wakefield had passed.
Yeah.
And you would ask me if you could start off the availability by saying a couple of words about Tim Wakefield. And as you know, he was such a big presence here in Boston, huge presence with the Red Sox Foundation, of course, the Jimmy Fund. Why was it important to you to say a couple of words about Wake at the time?
Yeah, I'm really happy you brought that up. I got to meet Wake one time, and the impact that one conversation had on me will stick with me for the rest of my life. And I got to learn about his involvement with the Jimmy Fund, and obviously his involvement with the community. And that's something, again, I've looked at different athletes in different communities and how they've represented it, but I don't think there's many more that's done it better than Wake. And again, it's my job, it's my teammates' jobs, it's everyone's job in this community to do it how Wake did it. And I wish he was here today because I could still learn from him. And to continue his legacy, I'm going to make sure I'm honoring him and how I treat my teammates, with how I treat the community, with how I treat everyone around me. And that's something that I'll always cherish from him in that conversation.
We'll close the conversation on that note. We appreciate you joining us, Jeremy Swayman, goaltender of the Boston Bruins.
I think Lisa Scherber and Tom Caron and I are the only 3 people who have been involved in every one of these Jimmy Fund Radio Telethons. And over the course of that experience, you get to know kids. Mm-hmm. The first kid that I lost, my kid that I lost, was a kid named Danny Williams.
Oh, yeah.
And whose funeral I attended. And those break your heart. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you that there are success stories. It's why this is so important. I think of Tara Daniels, who beat cancer not once but twice, and I was there in the hospital to visit with her. In the video package that we opened last hour with, we showed Tony Rando, the mom, when we were downstairs at Fenway Park, and we presented her daughter Tori with a birthday cake. Mm-hmm. And I was there when Tori was being treated, and when she continued to improve, and when she got better. Last week, Tori Rando got engaged.
Oh, my goodness.
She's going to get married because the work done at the Jimmy Fund and the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute allows these kids to beat this and move forward. And that's why what we're doing here is so important.
Yes, every donation makes a difference and makes a push to a world without cancer. And you mentioned some of these people who have been given a quality of life and longevity through this. I have an older cousin who had leukemia when she was just a little girl, and she was a Jimmy Fund patient. And she was a huge Bruins fan, and she ended up attending a game and getting the attention of Terry O'Reilly. We know him. And just the Jimmy Fund and Terry O'Reilly really took the time to look over her, to care for her, and now she's a mom with 2 beautiful children and a happy life.
There is so many things that you can do in addition to making the gift, and so many cancers are really preventable in this day and age. We talked to Magnolia about this last hour, and prevention. At the risk of getting too personal here, in about 20 minutes, my brother will go to the hospital where he lives, and he's having colon cancer surgery at 11 o'clock this morning. Colonoscopies, things like that, smoking cessation, HPV prevention programs, things that matter that you can do that can make a difference. My brother's going to kick the crap out of this thing. I know he is. But you've got to find out about these things. And then we've got to raise enough money to continue the research, to continue the treatment programs and the modalities. We're talking about things today that didn't even exist when we started this. Words and treatment programs that I wouldn't even have imagined.
Right.
And 20 years, when you're doing this 20 years from now, and I'm not, you'll be talking about things that we can't even imagine today.
Well, what's beautiful about this, we spoke with a woman earlier who was diagnosed with brain cancer 25 years ago in 1999. And at first she was told that there wasn't much that could be done. She was then referred to Dana-Farber, made the switch, and immediately they started talking to her about potential surgeries she could go through. And now she is on a drug, a medication that has changed her life. And she expects to be healthy and live for now. And I think that's beautiful to see the difference over the past decade, 2 decades, and the progression of medicine, the progression of research. And again, that's why these donations are so important. These open trials that these doctors are conducting can really be life-changing for people. And the money that is donated from this, whether it's 87 cents of $1 or whether it's $775,000, it all makes a difference and can really impact the lives. Because again, multiple people have told us that they wouldn't be here without Dana-Farber or the Jimmy Fund. And I think that's a powerful message in itself. It just shows that, everything that you can do makes a difference and can allow these researchers, these doctors to really give you a quality of life and give you a road of hope too. And I think that's a big word for this.
I mentioned earlier that the first time I visited the Jimmy Fund Clinic, I was afraid. I thought it was going to be depressing. I thought it was going to be a downer. It was anything but. And every visit that I've been able to make over the years to the Jimmy Fund Clinic has left me uplifted, has left me encouraged, has given me hope.
And I am just in awe of what is sitting next to me on this desk. It is the new play-by-play voice of the Boston Bruins on NESN and the play-by-play voice of the Boston Red Sox on NESN. I'm just going to get out. You guys go ahead.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't want to leave Judd and I with a microphone
Oh,
open.
my gosh.
The two of us at the same time.
You don't get paid by the minute or the word.
He
I do look forward to the stories, though.
Hey, Judd, no, seriously, congratulations once again. Thrilled for you. I feel like we've been teammates for a little while now, but now it's official. What does it mean to you to be the new play-by-play voice on NESN?
Well, it's such an honor. And Dave, our mutual friend, Ben Boma, texted the other day and he said, has it started to set in? And I said, not yet. At some point it will. I'm not exactly sure. It's like being here at Fenway Park. What's that welcome to the big leagues moment? Welcome to NESN moment, and the television voice of the Boston Bruins on NESN. That hasn't hit yet, but I'm sure it's coming up. But as I was walking down Lansdowne Street, maybe I got a taste of it because people came up and they were very nice and they congratulated me on the new gig. And that's not something you necessarily get in radio. And, as a guy who's done a lot of radio, I think you're very familiar.
It's very true, Judd. It's in this town in particular. I think it's different here than it is most other communities. You know this as well, Adam. If you're on TV and you're calling one of the major sports teams here, it's a different level of celebrity. That can go both ways. If the club's not playing particularly well, going through a bad stretch, you're going to feel some of that heat too. But that's part of the beauty of Boston. That's why we love it. So,
well, one of the things, when we were you were kind enough to have me on here on Saturday here at the Red Sox game. I think one of the things that you had talked about was the change from radio to TV. And I started thinking about something afterward that Vin Scully had talked about, because I think on the air the other day we talked about we're the soundtrack to the pictures. And Vinny, I think, always used to talk about he said, you are captioning the pictures that you are currently seeing. And that starts to come to mind. But one of the other things that Vinny mentioned, and I'm sure you had a chance to talk to him many times when you guys would cross paths, he said, and I'm not going to do the imitation, but he said, we don't always sign up. We don't just sign up for the good seasons. We sign up for all the seasons. Mm-hmm. Yes, he was very fortunate with the Dodgers team, whether it was in Los Angeles or dating back to Brooklyn. That was very good. But there were some down years. You have to go all the way back probably when the franchise moved from Brooklyn to Los Angeles. The last time Vinny really had to deal with that sincerely. But that's part of the job.
And part of the job as well is giving back your time, and that's why you're here today as well, as part of the Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon. What does it mean to you to be a part of this two-day event?
This is an institution in the same way that the Red Sox and the Bruins are. The Jimmy Fund is an institution, and it has been really since the late 40s. The amount of money that everybody has helped to raise, I think it's close to 70 or it's surpassed $70 million at this point. And I think all of us at some point have been touched by this wretched disease. My old partner on radio, Bob Beers, lost his wife to a long battle with cancer about 8 years ago. My cousin, who's also a doctor, and we talk about the medical community and places like Dana-Farber all the time, he's a guy who is currently going through it. He's in remission. My old partner with the Blackhawks, Troy Murray, this was a guy who was diagnosed with cancer about 4 or 5 years ago, and they said, you've only got about 6 months to live. But because of advances that a place like Dana-Farber has been able to put out into the world, he's continued to battle that. And to this day, he still is, but he's doing much, much better than I think anybody really anticipated. So I am just so fortunate and thankful, grateful, and humbled to be a part of this broadcast here today.
When you see the players giving back their time, it really strikes me. And you had Jeremy Swayman on earlier, and these 2 days, and other days of the year as well. We've seen the Bruins make hospital visits over the years, but the athletes really appreciate what it means to give back, and I've seen it firsthand in this town. Do you get that sense as well, being around the Bruins?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I think one of the reasons that the Bruins have been so successful for so long, and this goes all the way back to the 20s, if we're talking about Shore and Hitchman, all the way to Jeremy Swayman, who you reference right there, they are embedded in the culture here in Boston and New England. They care. Everybody has been touched by cancer, and I think even doing whatever you can, even if it's something small, whatever that donation is, it makes a difference in the long run as we battle this.
By the way, Sway said he's confident that things are moving in the right direction with the contract. I asked him a hockey question as well, Judd. So there you go. I had to get that in there.
He was kind enough to reach out after the announcement last Thursday that I was switching over to television.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. He's just a fabulous, fabulous guy and a tremendous player, and I have no doubt that's going to get settled.
Yeah. Well, Judd, we appreciate you coming on again. The tour continues. So the announcement of Judd Sirott as the new play-by-play voice of the Boston Bruins on this. I give you a little grief, but I really am happy for you.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Lisa Sherber, Director of Patient and Family Programs with the Jimmy Fund. And just watching that video, Lisa, it takes you back and it makes you emotional thinking about those two gentlemen and the impact that they had on this telethon, Dana-Farber and the Jimmy Fund.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be able to really look at videos for a long time without getting touched and emotional. But I think it's important to sort of look at them and realize that, the impact that both of those men had on all of us. And, for me, Tim, he was the first Red Sox player that I was able to meet and sort of see the relationship form with the kids at the Jimmy Fund Clinic. And I think for that, we always had a very special relationship. So I feel like it's one of those things, no one's ever going to be able to sort of replicate what he was able to do, but I think we've met some amazing people along the way that learned from him.
Yeah, including the players that you're seeing. It's the walk, the walk that we shoot every year of going to meet patients and their families.
Yes.
It's just incredible to see the players give back, and it just seems like they get it too, and they're introduced to it from day one. And we had Lucas Giolito, his first year in Boston. He was on the desk with us his first year in Boston. He came to Fenway Park as a visiting player and had seen the Jimmy Fund on the wall and was here during the telethon, understand what it was all about, and also understood who Tim Wakefield was, and that his memory lives on through the players of today is really something special.
Yeah, 100%. And I think when we used to do the road trips, like instead of doing the Boston trip with the teenagers, we used to go to Baltimore and Pittsburgh and all over. And people always said, like, we don't have this with our town or with our city. They didn't have a Red Sox relationship like the Jimmy Fund. They didn't have that with their baseball team. And so they were always trying to replicate that, and they really couldn't. And then one time when we were in Pittsburgh, and that's where Tim just won all of our hearts, and actually the other team's hearts too, because he carried Robbie down from the stands because Robbie had one leg from his cancer, and Robbie wanted to be up front because he was afraid he was going to miss something. And Tim didn't, bat an eye. He ran up the the bleacher kind of things and grabbed at him and just carried him down. And all of us, the docs, the nurses, the patients, we looked at that and we realized he was there. He was carrying all of us.
So incredibly special. And So incredibly meaningful to these families, to have a chance to obviously, over the years meet Tim Wakefield and other Red Sox players. And you see it firsthand too, right? The smiles on the faces of the kids and the families thrilled that they get an opportunity to meet these Red Sox players. It just means so much to them.
It means everything. It just makes them feel special. It makes them feel loved. If somebody you don't know is showing you compassion and kindness, then that touches your heart, and that just means that you have more people on your team than you thought, and that's really cool. And seeing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And Lisa, I shared the story yesterday. I'd shared it on social media before, after Tim passed. I have to share it again, and it always gets me emotional, so we're going to be up here. I have the tissues back there. But I have to share the story because it's just so important to contribute to the legacy of Tim Wakefield and what he meant and how gracious and generous that he was. I ran the Boston Marathon, as you know, last year, and I ran for Dana-Farber. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she received treatment. She's doing well. But I said, you know what, this is the perfect cause. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run for this. And Wake, found out I was running and made a donation. And it was the largest donation that I had received, $1,000. He donated $1,000. And at the time, Stacy was ill, was dealing with her illness. Knowing that, still, His
generosity was in every asset of life, and and as we're talking, I see Brianna's out there, and I can see Brianna Wakefield out there, and we're going to be chatting with her in a little bit. So, who has just turned into the most unbelievable young woman that it blows my mind. And we saw her with Santa and giving out presents earlier, and she's just taken that on.
Yeah.
For Tim and Stacy, and I think that has been a beautiful thing that I've been able to witness.
On his birthday, he bought us dinner, right?
Yes.
Doesn't that just embody who Tim Wakefield was?
It completely does. I just think the generosity, again, we say it all the time, he was a unique man.
Yeah.
He was a human being that he understood what made the heart beat. He understood what the simpleness of kindness. And when he was speaking to you, you knew he was speaking to you, and he was listening to you.
Yep.
And I think that's what's so great. And when he would come into clinic and he was talking with each child, with each parent, they knew whether they were old enough to know that knuckleball, whether they were old enough to sort of understand, what happened in 2000, all those years. They really just appreciated the man he was, and how they knew that they were really grateful and fortunate to sort of meet him.
Former Patriots offensive lineman Joe Andruzzi joins us. Joe, how are you?
Oh, much better these days. How we doing, guys?
I'm doing all right. Man. Obviously, you're a cancer survivor yourself.
My hair grow back, so it's here.
Your hair looks great, my friend.
It looks good. Just a little gray now. That's all. It's great.
Hey, join the club, buddy.
Do what I do. Just shave it all the way down.
Just go all the way down?
Yeah, just take a 1 against the grain and just shave it all the way down. Joe, as an offensive lineman that is a Super Bowl winner, you are used to incredible battles against, big opponents. When you are diagnosed with cancer, what's going through your mind?
You just shut down. And I tell patients and families all the time, and you get told that word cancer, and your body shuts down, and then all of a sudden, it's like a light switch. You gotta, just flip that switch up, and then figure out. My wife and I sat down and how we're gonna battle this thing. And what I tell people all the time, a lot of times, when I'm speaking. I fought a lot of battles on a football field for almost 20 years, but nothing more of a battle from a hospital bed. It was my biggest battle, and it was a battle for my life. But triumphed and moved forward, and my wife and I started the Joe Andruzzi Foundation, which helps patients and families with home end bills that are desperate. People forget about. I think one of you just said it. I was listening in. Is that every little bit counts, and for me, is the time is the most valuable thing we have on this earth. Because, whether you're donating $1, whether you're signing an autograph, whether you're spending time with a patient, it's just the most valuable thing you can have. It just lifts, everybody's spirits and helps people progress and, fight the toughest battle of life.
We've seen year after year the major four professional sports teams come together here for this event. We've seen the Red Sox players meeting with patients and their families. It's a part of the culture of each of the teams in Boston and New England in terms of giving back to the community. As a former player, how important was that to you?
It was very important, especially coming here and getting to know the Kraft family. My wife, Jen, worked specifically with her, with the Wives Association at the time, and now it's transitioned into the Patriots Travel Foundation. But she was an unbelievable woman, and she never wanted any accolades, or she didn't want her name in the paper. She did from the goodness of her heart, and that's basically where we are. And a lot of people want some accolades, but other people, you need to know that it's just, you're helping that person, and it's just going to make you feel good. And I believe, Myra and the rest of the Kraft family, they did a lot of great things over the years. So, my wife learning that and then putting it towards the foundation is just the most rewarding thing you could do. And for myself, being the face and basically the mascot of the of the organization, but having somebody walk up to you and with tears in their eyes just to say thank you is truly amazing. It just gives me chills to even say it. And those two words goes a long way. Just to say thank you. You helped me when I was at my lowest point in my life. And, that's where we step in and understand that, we've been there. And some people live paycheck to paycheck and they need that extra help.
As when you are a professional athlete, you have this aura of invincibility, right? Nothing can touch a professional athlete. Nothing can get them down. How different was that for you, where now this is completely out of your control? Doesn't matter how many weights you can lift, and you are, basically giving control up to these doctors that maybe are saying things that you've never heard before.
Yeah, it's so true you say that, because I've thought about that. And here I am in my 20s, and you think you're invincible, and you're out there, whether it's football, hockey, basketball, you're out there having some fun, doing what you love, and one day at a time, and all of a sudden, mine started with a stomach ache. I was actually constipated and went to the doctor, and a couple of days later, I took a scan, and he called and told me they found a large mass in or around my colon. And, and here I was. I remember, working out and benching and, having dumbbells in my hand. They were probably about 150 pounds each. And by the time I was done with cancer, I couldn't, 20 pounds, it was like snap, crackle, pop. I felt like Rice Krispie treats. But, one day at a time. And the next week it was 30. Next week after that, 40. So, you got to keep striving and keep moving forward. And, it did knock me down. And, it was a struggle. And, but I did play 10 years in the NFL and, had a great career for somebody who wasn't supposed to make a day in the league. But overall, it taught me the value of, when I got in that hospital, it was huge. I had to, I had to fight the toughest battle of my life because of the cancer I had. I was inpatient for 50 plus days and chemo sometimes 5 to 10 days straight. So it wasn't fun, but, I battled back, and, 6 feet above ground is better than 6 feet below.
And Joe, you mentioned your wife Jen a couple of times. How important was her support and the support of your family during that process?
Well, I believe that's Hillman. Is that Hillman, right?
What's that?
Hillman. Is that your voice?
No, man. No, it's Adam Pellerin, buddy.
Oh, Adam. Okay.
Yeah,
wow,
he's on EEI. He's a good guy, though.
Yes. Sound like him. Wow, you sound like him for a second.
No, I did. I guess I didn't realize I sounded like Hillman a little bit. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a nice
Caught me
compliment.
off guard. No, but overall, I mean, without my wife, my family, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. And, our time spent here in New England, we started a brain cancer research fund in honor of a young boy who passed away from brain cancer. And, 3 years later, we donated $500,000 to his doctor. And here we are, and turning around and calling that doctor for my own help. And we got off the phone, and it was July 31st, and not July, I'm sorry, May 31st in 2007. We got on a plane, and I said, no, why don't we wait a day? We got the kids. I had 4 young kids at the time. So why don't we wait a day? She said, no, we're going now. And left. And my doctor said, you're not taking another test. You're already stage 4, Burkitt's lymphoma. We're starting chemo tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., and probably be inpatient for most of it. So it was a tough one, but with her by my side, she spent a lot of time by my side, and she would be home sometimes. She would stay with me if I was really sick, and then go home at like 5 a.m. to have the kids wake up to one of their parents being there. So she was pretty amazing, and amazing on my side, and she was there probably 99% of the time. And when she wasn't, she made sure somebody was there with me. But overall, she does that for myself. We have 5 kids now, and just many things like that. Just how she works with the foundation, and it's hard when you do get close to certain patients and families, because some triumph and some lose their battle to cancer, and it gets tough. And we lost 2 very close people to us in the last year. One, a young 13-year-old, and one, a 37-year-old. He was actually on our board, and just an amazing guy, and how everybody was inspired by him. Everybody was inspired by her, and you see that, and you see how we can portray that and help keep living their life, keep living what they believed in, and knowing that you got to make every day count.
Well, both Adam and I fancy ourselves as workout guys. So, the most important question is, you still throwing up 150?
I don't know about that anymore. I mean, that was back when I was playing, but
yeah, that's impressive.
No, it's but 150, back, it's in the past. It's I still have a lot more aches and pains these days. So very different. Maybe a total of 150. That's about it.
well, with 5 kids to chase around, it's a full-time job, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, I'm coaching football tonight, so we're still in this what they call it, August training or whatever it is, and we got a scrimmage tomorrow, so these kids with big smiles on their faces, and when I go out there, and I'm just trying to teach them every little bit I know, and it would help me move forward, and would help me, triumph and have a great career. But everybody knows that it's just 1%. I try and tell these kids school is much more important than any sport. 1% of the population will ever see a professional sport. So it's one of those things to relay and know that you're going to have fun. You can have fun all you want on this field, but you got to step forward, and you got to be able to work hard in the classroom, and keep moving forward and have good grades, and especially be a good citizen and a good son to your parents.
Well, Joe, we appreciate you stopping by, and appreciate all the work you do with your foundation, and also getting the word out to help this telethon as well. Thanks as always, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Good luck.
Welcome back into the WEI Nesson Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon here in our Wasabi Studios. George Bilecki, Dan Shaughnessy, 2 very special guests. Ramey Darling.
Yep.
Got it. And then Ramey Sr.
Another one.
Our OG Ramey. We'll call you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time. Ramey, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
So, can you take us a little bit through your cancer journey and your journey over at Dana-Farber?
Yeah, so originally I'm from Florida, and just one day I wasn't really eating well, and Yeah, so my dad, went to a doctor and they checked me out and they just said it was just like, I don't know, gastritis or something. So, and then eventually it just got to a point where it was really, really bad and I like took one bite of something and I was super full. So we went to like this ER and they took a scan of me and there was like tumors all over my liver and just a little bit on my lungs. So they got on an ambulance and we went to Nemours Hospital in Orlando. And then my mom and my dad started research on the best place to go. And that's how we ended up here in Boston.
That's amazing. You picked Boston for Dana-Farber. But take us a little bit through, and I'll ask Ramey, yourself, and your dad as well. You got the treatment here, but also what was the care like for them to help you relocate for, a period of time here in Boston and to make sure that, you're giving the cancer the best fight you can, but also looking out for you and your family?
Yeah, so it's just really been like an awesome experience. Like my mom and two sisters, they've been able to come up here some, but they're still able to live their life perfectly normal back in Florida. And it's really just been me and my dad up here, but we've been able to do so much fun stuff.
And what's the experience been like at Dana-Farber?
So we had to make a decision pretty quickly on where the best place was to go in the world. And as soon as we had our first meeting with the doctor up here, we just knew right away after walking through the clinic, we felt so comfortable and so at home. And you've just got to trust your gut in some situations. And we, uprooted our life and moved up here to be in the best care. And, it's the best decision we've made. They've done a wonderful job. And, he's still here and he's doing great. And, it's been a wonderful experience for us as well.
So, Ramey, what teams do you root for now? The Florida teams or the Boston team?
Mostly the Boston teams because all I really watched back in Florida was football. Mm-hmm. So I'm still kind of a Dolphins fan, but I'm also a Patriots fan and Celtics, which was really good this year.
You're pretty good on TV. You think you could do George's job?
Ready to take it? I think you can.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think you should come back and audition for that. When you're going into 5th grade?
Yeah, I'm going into 5th grade.
Wow.
I've been homeschooled for a really long time, and I'm actually going to be going to regular school.
Who's been your homeschool teacher?
Just my mom, but there's like this community thing that we did like every Monday back in Florida. We would just, like a bunch of kids would like go to like kind of like the school thing. It was pretty much like school. Just like on Mondays and stuff.
You seem pretty smart, so that's your mom's doing a good job there, I'd say. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this year it's going to be like school with other kids?
Yeah, school with other kids every single day.
You're excited for that?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Wow.
Who are your favorite Celtics? Who's your favorite Celtics player?
Probably Porzingis.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about on the Red Sox? Who's your favorite Red Sox player? We just saw that photo of you and your dad soaking it in from the Green Monster.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I like all of them, but I went to that Seattle game, and when
Devers.
Yeah, Devers. When he hit their home run to win it in extra innings, he's probably my favorite now. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Ramey, I want to ask you, for anyone at home, that may be questioning why to donate, can you tell them why they should donate to the Jimmy Fund and to Dana-Farber?
Yeah, it's just like... it's just like you're saving people's lives just by donating like $50 and stuff. It's just like, it's just really meaningful and stuff. And yeah.
It is. No, it is. And I think people at home on the fence about donate because what you give towards the Jimmy Fund, what you give to Dana-Farber helps someone like Ramey go enjoy 5th grade in a classroom with his teammates. You're excited for that?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
That's going to be awesome. Ramey, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for joining us and continue doing the great fight and being the warrior that you are, Ramey. It was an honor to meet you, man.
Thank you.
Charlie Jacobs, alternate
Adam,
CEO.
Razor. Morning. Good to see you both.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
You're here every year showing your support for the Jimmy Fund. Why is it important for the Boston Bruins to represent and come here?
Oh, this has been, this is my, I want to say 22nd Jimmy Fund Telethon here at Fenway Park. And this has always been such a key part of our year in terms of how we represent and show up as the Boston Bruins and giving back to the community. I'm personally here to represent the Bruins, which I raise my hand for this one every year because it's such a special cause. And cancer touches all of us in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a family member or one of us personally. Such a noble cause.
Charlie B. would talk about, and Ukes in the start talking about when you're an athlete in Boston, you know about the Jimmy Fund and you know about Dana Farber instantly. And for me, coming a kid from Canada, coming to the Bruins, I learned that in my first training camp and right away. And just, I think, can you talk about how important it is for the Bruins organization to pass that on to the players and explain for the guys not from here how important this and what this means to the community?
Sure. I mean, listen, and we start at rookie camp. When you're first drafted as a Boston Bruin, you come in usually in September, October. We come in actually in July, right after you're drafted, to come in and we start talking about what it means to be a Boston Bruin, to wear the Spoke B, the expectation of how you show up in the community as a Bruin. And, of course, we highlight all the different things, whether it's, showing up at Children's Hospital, handing out turkeys at Thanksgiving, and, of course, coming and being a party to the Jimmy Fund and this event here at Fenway Park.
That's what makes Boston special, too, I think, right? Because you look at the synergy between the professional sports teams in town, and you see how they all come together in these couple of days. And I remember one year you had the ownership group, from all four major sports teams on the radio talking about that. You don't see that anywhere else.
No, you don't. It's that's part of what makes Boston so special, right?
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. Are you looking forward to the season? I mean, you talk about July, and we're here in August. Training camp starts in a month.
We were just driving over. So I work over at the Garden, and we were just driving over talking about an event that we have starting on August 23rd. We have 100 days of hockey leading up to our centennial game on December 1st against the Habs here at the Garden. So, yeah, it is literally right around the corner. We're talking like next week. We're ready to go.
That's awesome.
Summer's over. Are you excited about what the Bruins and Don Sweeney and Cam Neely did this summer and where the team stands?
Well, we had some room, right? We had Sweens and Cam. We had some room finally, some breathing room to go out and invest in our team. And I feel we got bigger. I feel like we added some skill and some grit, and hopefully that shows up, come puck drop in October, and most importantly when the playoffs start. Right, we need that extra. And I know we got the big defenseman and Zadorov, some hopefully, and I know this isn't wood, but I'll knock on this to say a number one center and what we got. We've got some really good players and some guys that are committed to winning, and of course with Marsh at the helm. Leading and by example as he does, I think we got a good team this year.
I wanted to ask you about that. His first year as captain, a changing of the guard last season, the retirement of Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, and then Brad Marchand taking over as captain. How do you think he did in his first year?
I think he did great. I really listen. I'm proud of all the Bruins, but I'm especially proud of the way Brad grew. Right, I feel like Brad really grew as a person and a player. He led, and he had Patrice Bergeron and he had Zdeno before him to sort of show him the way, but he actually stepped into those shoes and he did it by example. And I think that he really is. He's a Boston Bruin through and through. I don't see Brad going anywhere after his playing days. Or, by the way, I'm not implying that they're anywhere near the end of his playing days, but I don't see Brad going anywhere but being a Boston Bruin for life. And I think, just to answer your question, Adam, I think he did a great job, and I'm really proud of him.
A lot of people are proud of Brad. I'm going to bring up the Swayman question because I get asked on it every day on the golf course. So I'm going to throw it out there. I'm just going to, I'll infer that I'm assuming that this is business as usual. The summertime is here, and there's still a lot of time till the season starts.
We have some runway, and I try not to get involved. We normally don't comment on player personnel contracts. Obviously, it's our hope that Sway gets signed, and he's in our camp and getting ready to play once the puck drops in early October. But that's something I'll leave up to Cam and Sweens and let them figure it out.
I do want to talk about a contract that's finalized. Judd Sirott, new play-by-play voice of the Boston Bruins on Nesson. Your thoughts on that?
I've been a fan of Judd's for a while. I usually, if I'm at a game and I am exiting the TD Garden parking lot, I of course turn on BZ and listen to the post game, and if I'm away, there are often times actually where I may not get. I watch every game, but and if I can't find it on Nesson, I'll listen to the radio and watch the play-by-play. Judd does a great job, I think, and I'm really happy that he's on board. Those are some big shoes to fill. Listen, I'm a big Jack fan. Jack was a homer. I'm going to miss those calls that I got from Gary Bettman talking about, why would he make that call? How come, why can't he just call it equal? No, I love the sideways. And I'm hoping that some of that rubs off on Judd when it comes to his calls.
A little homerism isn't bad from time to time.
A few calls from Gary Bettman. That's the bar for Judd. You mentioned the 100 days and the centennial, and what a pleasure for me as a former player just to have been a part of last season, and what an amazing job you as an organization did all the way down to everybody, right? It was all hands on deck all year. I know how much work was put into it. The last 100 days, just talk of that, and then what that December 1 game is going to be like.
So the 100 days of hockey, we're kicking it off in Lewiston, Maine. We have 3 different, I'm going to say, clinic, learn to play. Hockey is for everybody. We're starting this program up in Lewiston and working our way down towards the center, what I call the hub of, and frankly, down here to Boston. But trying to touch all parts of New England, frankly, with hockey. And this has been a journey, right? This is we're trying to celebrate 100 years, the first American franchise to turn 100 years old. And there was a lot, as you mentioned, Razor, there's a lot that went into making this a reality. And how do we close it out the best way we can? We start grassroots. We do street hockey. We'll learn to play clinics, and then culminate right up to that game on December 1st. It should be some good theater. I'm ready to fasten my seatbelt and get ready for this because it's going to be a run right up to the 1st of December.
Yeah, last year was so much fun, and preseason opener September 22nd, season opener against defending Stanley Cup champs in Florida on October 8th. I mean, it's fast approaching.
It's
almost here. But we still have some business to take care of here with a couple of days. Jimmy Fund Raio Telethon.
Yeah, let's raise some dough. Huh? Let's get ready.
Absolutely.
Every dollar counts.
Absolutely. Charlie Jacobs, alternate governor, CEO of the Boston Bruins, joining us. We appreciate your time as always.
Absolutely. So I'm unclear. I'm going on radio next. Are you guys raising money here, or are we raising money?
Is there some sort of presentation? I mean, we would love to do it here. I don't want to steal EI's thunder or anything.
Well,
do you want to wait for the radio since it's the radio telethon? Or
let's go right here. We got him here. Come on.
All right, let's
pressure on.
All right. Drum roll. Here we go.
Put the pressure
Bruins
on.
are in for 25,000.
Yes.
All right.
Let's do it.
We got that number cranking now.
Awesome. And you saw it right here.
Yeah, get that on there right away.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much for stopping
by.
And thank you for the generous donation for the Bruins Foundation again.